In today's gospel, the gospel of the Good Samaritan, the lawyer asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" And Jesus told him the story of the man who was robbed and left half dead on the road. And although there were priests who walked by, but they did not do nothing for him, this Samaritan went off his beast, showed compassion to him, wounded his wounds, take him on his beast, take him to an inn, and care for him. And Jesus said to him, to the lawyer, "Who is the one who was a good neighbor?" And the lawyer said, "The one who showed mercy." And today Jesus is saying to him, to the lawyer, and to each one today, go and do likewise. If we go in the first reading today, we see how God in His mercy really is preparing the world for the coming of Jesus, the Son of God, and how the first reading reflects on that mercy that God wants from us. Moses today is trying to convey his people what is the greatest of the commandments. Remember, the Jewish people have 613 laws to obey. 613. And today, Moses is trying to give them the priority of the commandments. And so he said, you have to love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and to love your neighbor as thyself. And that command now is being practiced by Jesus when He is saying to the lawyer, it's not how much you know about the law. It's not how much you know about the commandments that Moses handed down to you, but how much you put them into practice that really matter. For them, the neighbor was my blood people, my neighbors, and those who are dear to me. The rest, those who are uncircumcised, those who are not part of our people, I don't care for them. And that was the attitude of the Jewish people. And today Jesus wants to expand that attitude by saying to him, your neighbor is not just a Jew born, or a neighbor, or a blood relations, but anyone that needs your help. I like to focus on this beautiful parable, and there are 10 things that the Samaritan did. First of all, he got off his beast. The other priests, they saw him and they walked on the other side. He went off his beast. He felt compassion for him. He was moved with pity. He put oil and wine on the wounds so that he will smooth them. Number four, he wrapped them, he bandaged them, and then he put him on his beast. He take him to the inn. He took 2 silver pieces. He told the owner to take care of him. He went again to pay his debt, and finally he showed love. Now, when we speak about the commandments of God, love your neighbor does not mean to pray for your neighbor, period. Not just say, God bless you, period, but let us put into action what we profess. And that is the most important thing that Jesus wants to tell us. I know what the law said. I know you answered correctly. I know what you said, love God with all your mind and heart. But then the second part, love your neighbor as thyself, you are not really putting into action what you are saying. It's not how much we feel for people. Sometimes, you are on the internet, on the Facebook, and sometimes, you hear people, oh, if I was there, they do that to those people. Oh, if I know what they do to animals, I will do the same thing to them. And it's not how much talk, because talk never make nothing, Parla si, fatti no. You see that? Too much talk, there is no action. But we need to really get off our and go and do. Jesus today is asking us to reach out to others, especially those who are in need of our help. Now many people say, well, you know, my neighbor is not very pleasant. They do this to me and they did this to my children, and so I stay away from them. Well, there is nothing wrong that you don't incite people and you stay out of their presence, because you know you don't know how they are going to judge you or how they are going to take you. But when you see them in trouble, when you see them going through a hard time, you are the first one to knock on that door. You are the first one to do what you can do for them. That is what Jesus is trying to say to us today. There are people in our life that because of their actions or because of their words, they distance themselves from us, or we distance ourselves from them. But does not mean that there is no law of love that reach out to them. That you need to reach out to them in time of need. And that is exactly what Jesus is trying to say. How many men and women today are prison of their own home because of their senior years, and there is no one to care for them? How many men and women are in a nursing home and they don't even have visitation from their own family, if they have, or from no one that loved, that was neighbors to them before, or they were friends with them? How many times, you know, we see people who are trying to do their best, but because of the fragility of nature, they cannot do it, and we don't reach to them. I was impressed 2 weeks ago. I don't know where I was, but there was a woman who was a little elderly, and she was a little shaky. She has one of those walkers, and she was purchased something or going from something. And there was like a steep to go down on a level ground, and the woman was thinking twice if she will go or not, because she was afraid that she will fall. And there was a young boy, not even 12, 13 years of age. He left his mother. He went to the lady. She said, "You want help?" He hold the walker from in front of her, and he make her come down that little ramp that was there, so that she can come to the level. I thought to myself, that boy was taught very well. And that is really what Jesus is trying to say to us. They are nothing, but they are actions of love. Our commandments are not do not, do not, do not, but is love God with all your heart, and love your neighbor as thyself. If we are going to take the law and we are going to see how far we can go, that's not love, that's not neighbor, that's not love of neighbor. You are doing this because you want to be, as we say, politically correctly, or you don't want to, to bother with nothing. Remember, dear people, that what we need to do is not only to know the law, but to really put it into practice. Look what Jesus did today. St. Paul tells us what Jesus did. He became our Good Samaritan. He left heaven. He was incarnate to deliver us from the pain of sin and to redeem us from the separation that we have from God. And why he did that? So that he can take us where we belong, to heaven, to the Father. So you see, we need to imitate Jesus. He is the Good Samaritan. He is the one who really loves us so much that wants to reach out to us. And that is what he wants from you and from me. It's not how much alleluias and how much masses we go to. They are good and important, but we don't leave there, because you don't take gas in the car to put your car in the garage, but you take gas in your car to take her out and go for your errands and do your business. I mean, if you are going to go and fill your car with the gas and live in the garage, people will say to you, "What are you doing that for?" Well, because I want her to be filled with gas. The same thing with us. We take the grace of the Mass, the grace of the Eucharist, we take the grace of the sacraments and we leave them there. We don't exercise them. We need to put into action what Jesus said to the lawyer today. If you think that is what it is to be a neighbor, go and do the same. Go and show mercy. And mercy is what God is full of abundance of it. Although by justice he can condemn us because of our sin, in his mercy he redeemed us. And what God did to us, we need to do to others. So this Sunday, the Sunday of the Good Samaritans, let us take a lesson. Maybe there are things in our life that you can do. You know, some people, you know, don't see them in church. Nobody calls them. Nobody calls them. I always tell people, did you call them to see how they are doing? You don't see people coming out of the house. Did you see if there is something that you can do? Maybe they're in the hospital, maybe there is something wrong. We need to be caretakers of each other. Not that we are going to be overwhelming, but we need to be caring. Because caring is what God do for us. And what he asks of us is just one thing. Yes, to love him above everything, but then to love others as you love yourself. And as you want others to be there for you, and you don't hurt yourself, and you don't do anything wrong to yourself, so we do to others. May the Lord help us to be good Samaritans, not in words, but in deed. God bless you.